Curious what awaits in Mexico City? Join me as I embark on this inaugural journey to this dynamic metropolis where ancient city meets modern vibrancy. From iconic landmarks to hidden gems, let's uncover the sights, sounds, and flavors that make Mexico City a must-visit destination. I want to cover these three things before we begin, real quick. Number one, everything that I cover here today is going to be in the description field. I'll also include hyperlinks to the tours that I took and some of the tours that I did not take, just in case you do like those. Second, if you want this video in PDF form, feel free to download my free Mexico City guide. And number three, I look forward to earning your like. Let's begin. Mexico City has a diverse and rich history that spans over 1,000 years. Here's a brief overview. Pre-Columbian era, the era where Mexico City now stands, was originally inhabited by the indigenous people, including the Aztecs, who founded their capital city. It's on an island in Lake Texcoco in the early 14th century. The city became one of the largest and most powerful cities in the pre-Columbian Americas, with a sophisticated society, advanced architecture, and a complex system of governments. Spanish conquest. In 1519, Spanish conquistador Cortez arrived in the region and, with the help of indigenous allies who were enemies of the Aztecs, conquered the city in 1521. The Spanish then built Mexico City on the ruins of the ancient Aztec city, making it the capital of New Spain, a vast colony that encompassed much of the present-day Mexico, Central America, and parts of the United States. Colonial period. Mexico City flourished as the capital of New Spain, with the Spanish colony authorities constructing grand buildings, churches, and plazas in the European style. The city became a center of political and economic and cultural power in the Spanish Empire. In 1821, Mexico gained independence from Spain after a protracted war of independence. Mexico City continued to serve as the capital of the newly independent nation, which was renamed Mexico. And here I put a picture of Cinco de Mayo. First of all, Cinco de Mayo has nothing to do with the Mexican Independence Day, which is celebrated on September 16th. Instead, it refers to the famous military victory that portrays here in this painting, when an ill-equipped, ill-armed, poor Mexican army was able to fight off a superior French army on the outskirts of the city of Puebla on May 5th, 1862. Mexico had gone through a 3-year civil war, and its president, who is shown here, Benito Juarez, decided to suspend repayment of loans to Britain, Spain, and France. Napoleon III, the leader of France at the time, wanted to create a French empire in Latin America and decided to start in Mexico. But as the French troops tried to reach Mexico City, they encountered the ill-equipped Mexican unit stationed in Puebla. Mexico won the battle, but ultimately will lose under French rule for years. Modern era. Mexico City has experienced significant growth and development over the centuries, with periods of political upheaval, economic expansion, and social change. It has emerged as one of the largest and most populous cities in the world, with a diverse population and a vibrant cultural scene. Airports and train stations. In Mexico City, there are several airports and train stations and bus stations that serve as a major transportation hub. Here are the primary ones. First of all, the airports. Benito Juarez International Airport. This is the main airport servicing Mexico City and is one of the busiest airports in Latin America. It is located in the eastern part of the city and offers domestic and international flights. The bus station, also known as the Tapo, commonly referred, is a major bus terminal located in the eastern part of Mexico City. It serves as a hub for long-distance bus services to various destinations within Mexico and some international routes. Mexico City is situated in the Valley of Mexico, surrounded by mountains and volcanoes. Here's a brief overview of the orientation. Geographical location. Mexico City is located in the southern part of Mexico, in the central region of the country. Cardinal directions. The city's layout generally follows cardinal directions, with the historic center, the Zócalo, considered the reference point. North is towards the mountainous regions, while south extends towards the flatter terrain. Mountains and volcanoes. The south and the southeast of Mexico City, you'll find volcanic peaks, including the iconic volcanoes. These natural landmarks can aid in orientation, especially when leaving the city from elevated locations. On sleeping, I like to add in, of course, Mexico City as being the largest populous city in the Americas, bigger than LA, bigger than New York City. It has over 20 million people during the day in the surrounding areas. So it's going to offer many amenities, high-end hotels, regular hotels, Airbnbs, all the way down to hostels and so forth. So there's really not that much I can add there, except if you want specifics on the descriptions, absolutely see download my free Mexico City guide. But I wanted to at least give you something here showing the regions, if you will, in Mexico City to kind of highlight where to stay and what the feel of it is, and what type of hotel you're looking for, or I should say a place of accommodation, what to look for. Of course, you have the airport on the eastern part of the city, and then if you go to the far left, you'll see Santa Fe there, and that I would say is the newest part of the city. You wouldn't get the old Aztec feel, the old historic center feel. It would be going from, going the other way, where if you want modern design, modern places to be, corporate and things like that, is the Santa Fe area. The other side of that would be El Centro in yellow, which is the historic part of the place of Mexico City where the ancient Aztec city was. Of course, if you stay there, you are in 1 or 2 blocks away from a majority of the sites that you're going to see anyway. So that could be a possible great spot to book a hotel in a historic building, Airbnb and things like that. The only thing I would, just like anything in life, there's no free lunch. So, of course, you're going to have the crowds. You may have excess noise at night. And I haven't experienced this personally, but in doing my research for my trip, it could get a little sketchy for you at night. So there is a trade-off to being near the central part of your sightseeing. In the Reforma, really not too much to say there. It's more corporate. It's one street. You may pick up some Airbnbs. Some hotels, if you go to head towards Chapultepec Park. For my Bonvoy people, my Marriott people who are watching this video, there is a Ritz-Carlton and a St. Regis right next to that park, and where I chose to stay at the St. Regis. If you go up to the blue, the Polano district, that is the, for my New York City friends, the Upper East Side folks, Central Park area, New York City, Beverly Hills, LA type of area. So it's going to be more high end, the Rodeo Drive feel, the high end shops and things like that. So less of the tourist cultural, but if you want to experience that kind of vibe, I would recommend to stay in the Polano area. But again, the flip side is you're not getting your typical Mexico City type of feel, if you will. I would group in the Zona Rosa, Condesa, and Roma into one. This truly looks like the high vegetarian, high, nice 2 or 3 story buildings. It's very quaint. It's very, really nice, elegant. If you want to experience a neighborhood Airbnb type of feel, I would recommend this particular area just south of the Reforma Street. Not experienced with the purple section, but I would skip down to the Coyoacan area, which I did experience during the day. If you want this bohemian, colorful type, quaint, artsy-fartsy type of feel, a great little nightlife, and you're away from typical tourist type of vibe, I would recommend the Coyoacan area, which would be perfect for your Airbnb type of feel for yourself. When it comes to dining in Mexico City, you're in for a rich culinary adventure. Here are some tips and suggestions for enjoying the diverse and delicious cuisine. Street food. Dive into the vibrant street food scene and savor local favorites like tacos, quesadillas, tamales, and don't miss out on trying different salsas and toppings to enhance your street food experience. Market dining. Visit traditional markets such as the Mercado de la Coyoacan to sample a variety of authentic Mexican dishes. These markets offer a wide range of food stalls. Trendy neighborhoods. Explore trendy neighborhoods like Roma, Condesa, and Polanco. which offer their own eclectic dining scenes. Taste regional cuisine. Mexico City is a melting pot of regional flavors and across the country. Look for restaurants specializing in regional cuisine such as Oaxacan mole, Yucatan, and Pueblan. Fine dining. Treat yourself to a meal at one of Mexico City's upscale restaurants. Many of them are helmed and acclaimed chefs. From modern Mexican cuisine to international fusion, these dining establishments offer exquisite dishes and elegant ambiance. Bakeries and cafes. Start your day with a Mexican-style breakfast at a local bakery or cafe. Enjoy fresh baked pan dulce, chilaquiles, or huevos rancheros paired with a cup of freshly brewed coffee or hot chocolate. And of course, you have to enjoy a churro. In Mexico City, you'll find a wealth of cultural, historical, and archaeological sites to explore. Here are some of the must-see attractions. The Zócalo. This historic square in the heart of Mexico City is one of the largest city squares in the world. It is surrounded by landmarks such as the Metropolitan Cathedral, National Palace, and Templo Mayor archaeological site. Chipotle Park. One of the largest urban parks in the world. Chipotle Park offers a variety of attractions, including Chipotle Castle. Here you see a pic of me on top of the castle enjoying the views of the city in the background, the rooftop, and the stained glass. And then you have the National Museum of Anthropology. The Frida Kahlo Museum. Step into the colorful world of the iconic Mexican artist Frida Kahlo at her former home, known as Casa Azul. Explore Kahlo's studio, living spaces, and gardens, which offer an insight to her life and work. And I especially love this painting, Viva la Vida, which is a painting that Coldplay got inspired from the song to write Viva la Vida. Palazzo de las Bellas Artes. The iconic cultural center is renowned for its stunning Art Nouveau and Art Deco architecture. Inside, you'll find a theater, concert hall, and art museum featuring works by Mexican artists as Diego Rivera and Rufino Tamayo. Coyoacan. Explore the charming neighborhood of Coyoacan, known for its cobblestone streets, colonial architecture, and bohemian atmosphere. Visit the attractions as the Frida Kahlo Museum and Leon Trotsky's House Museum and lively markets. And I wanted to show you some pictures of me in the Coyoacan Park. Here you have the Coyoacan sign in the background. Here I am at the fountain with the coyotes. National Museum of Anthropology. Delve into Mexico's rich indigenous heritage at the world-class museum, which houses the extensive art collections of artifacts, sculptures, and exhibits related to the Mesoamerican civilization. And here we are on the itinerary. I went ahead and plugged in a lot of sites, including some that I didn't see, just to load the map up, and wanted to show you my breakdown on what I did, and you can obviously adapt to your specific situation. I tend to have some biases that I genuinely fly in, and I usually land right before check-in. And then after check-in to the hotel, I like to have the first night free to myself to kind of walk around, do what I need to do, enjoy the city, and things like that. And in this particular case, I came in on a Monday, so I had all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday, and then I left first thing Thursday morning because I just had a really tight trip. So just to kind of keep that in mind. I also like to, depends on the situation, again, I like to color code things on particular geographic regions / what day I'm actually going to do these particular events in. So for example, I have this map up here, and I have it in a view where you can actually see the general area. I stayed here at the Ritz-Carlton, which is next to the Chipotle Park, right on the Roma, which is this major throughway main drag, if you will. And so the first night when I got in, I checked into the hotel. I hung out in this neighborhood on the way out, grabbed some street food, walked along the major road here. On the way back, I just kind of zigzagged myself, the south of the main road, and just worked my way back to the hotel. So it was a nice little easy way of just kind of seeing the general vicinity and just kind of grab some food and grab a churro and just kind of relax a little bit before I hit the day running the next day, because I knew Tuesday was going to be a long day for me. So what I did was I started off in the morning. I did the park. So as soon as I got up, I went I booked a museum, as I talked about. All the links are there in the description field. Started off with the anthropology museum. Went in the first thing in the morning around 9 o'clock. Walked through the park. Got to see some beautiful greenery and a lot of things going on in the park. And then we walked up to the castle and enjoyed ourselves there. Went all the way to the top, took some great views, not only in the castle, but of course showing this city here as a backdrop. And then it was just a matter of grabbing lunch in this general vicinity, and then hopped on a ride and went to the main historic area here. And as you can see, this is the main area. So this is I'll just start on the left-hand side there with the outline, and each star will highlight itself because I know it's kind of bunched up. The Zócalo is the main square in the historic center, and then right outside is the Garibaldi, and then you have the Bellas Artes, the Templo Mayor Museum, which is the ancient Aztec ruins. And of course, I went through this when I went through the site section. And then you have the National Palace, and then you have the Mexico City Metropolitan, the House of Tiles, which kind of has that, if you've ever been to Lisbon, it kind of has that Portuguese look to it with the blue tiles. And then you have the post office. So everything is really jam-packed in that historic center. And then again, if you want to kind of split the first half in the park area and then the second half in the historic center, you can actually make a full day in the historic center. Because of my time, I was forced to kind of group everything. So it was a really long day. And I did not make it up north a little bit to the Basilica of Our Lady. I did not do that, but I did have that on the map just in case I would get to that. The next day, what I did is I booked a tour in the Xochimilco canals, which is the ancient Aztec canals. It's the last of the surviving ones, as a matter of fact, that the Aztecs used to go down what they use as their roads and vegetation to grow their crops. That is south of the city. So I did that first thing in the morning, went south, headed to south of Cayacan, and did that for the day. And then on the way back up, I stopped by the Frida Kahlo Museum. That's why that's in green. I did that on Wednesday. I made that for a long day before heading back. And then so by the time I got back up to the hotel, it was time to eat dinner and just grabbed a bite there and just really just took it easy because I had like a 5 a.m. flight on Thursday to head back to LA. So again, flew in Monday, walked around this general vicinity area around the hotel at night. On Tuesday morning, I hit the park, which is in the gold, and then Tuesday afternoon hit the major areas here in this red color. And then on Wednesday, did the canal ride and hit the Frida Kahlo Museum on the way back up. And then Wednesday evening, really just enjoyed myself and relaxed and got ready to fly back home on Thursday. So hope that helps. Shopping in Mexico City offers a diverse and vibrant experience. From everything from traditional markets to high-end boutiques, here are some shopping destinations to explore. And I figured this map worked for me during the sleeping section of this video, so I thought I'd show the same map again and now talk about the shopping. And I wanted to highlight a handful of districts here for your shopping experience. One is the Polanco, known for its upscale shopping. Polanco is home to luxury boutiques, designer stores, high-end shopping malls, such as the Antara Fashion Mall and the Paseo de la Reforma 222. Explore exclusive fashion brands, jewelry shops, and upscale department stores. The Central Historical, wander through the historic center of Mexico City, where you'll find a mix of traditional markets, souvenir shops, and department stores. Visit popular shopping streets like the Calle Madero and the Calle Tacuba for a diverse shopping experience. Santa Fe, explore the modern shopping district of Santa Fe, home to shopping malls such as the Central Santa Fe and the Patio Santa Fe. Shop for international brands, electronics, and home goods in this upscale area. Coyoacan, explore the bohemian neighborhood of Coyoacan, known for its artsy vibe and eclectic shopping scene. Visit the Mercado de la Coyoacan for crafts, jewelry, and souvenirs, and explore the boutiques and galleries along the Calle Francisco Sosa. Mercado Roma, this gourmet food market in the Roma neighborhood, offers a curated selection of food, drink, and local producers. Sample gourmet cheeses, crafts, beers, wines, and other specialty products. Mexico City is surrounded by fascinating destinations that makes an awesome day trips. Here are some recommended day trips from Mexico City. And like I said in the beginning, all the hyperlinks to these destinations will be listed in the description field. Teotihuacan, explore the ancient city, home to impressive Mesoamerican pyramids such as the Pyramid of the Sun and the Pyramid of the Moon. Marvel at the archaeological sites, learn about the history and the ancient civilization, and climb to the top of the pyramids for panoramic views of the surrounding landscape. I include some balloon rides, hyperlinks, tours in the description field with this one. Tepoztlan, visit the picturesque town of Tepoztlan, known for its charming streets, colorful markets, and mystical atmosphere. Hike to the top of the pyramid for breathtaking views of the town and the surrounding mountains. Puebla, discover the colonial charm of Puebla, a UNESCO World Heritage famous for its beautiful preserved historic center, colorful pottery, and delicious cuisine. Explore the landmarks such as the Puebla Cathedral, the Zócalo, and the Rosary Chapel. Cholula, explore the ancient city of Cholula, home to the largest pyramid in the world by volume, the Great Pyramid of Cholula. Visit the archaeological site, explore the historic center, and enjoy the panoramic views of the surrounding countryside. Cuernavaca, known for its city of eternal spring. Cuernavaca is a charming colonial city with lush gardens, historic churches, and beautiful mansions. Xochimilco, experience the colorful canals of Xochimilco, a UNESCO World Heritage Site known for its floating gardens and traditional wooden boats. Enjoy the leisurely boat ride, sample street food, and soak up festive atmosphere. And I included a few photos of me on the tour. Wanted to show you the first photo of me and the entire gang that I met worldwide. There were some folks there from England, Chicago, Switzerland, New York, and you have myself from Los Angeles. We enjoyed the wonderful time that we spent together, all as strangers at first and became friends afterwards. There's me standing at the edge of the boat looking debonair, if you will. Also had to show a picture of the mariachi band playing on the boat. They came by on another boat and hopped on and gave us a few songs. Nevado de Toluca, escape to the mountains with a day trip to Toluca, a dormant volcano and national park located just outside of Mexico City. Hike to the Creator Lagoon, explore the surrounding trails and stunning views of the volcanic landscape. Valle de Bravo, relax in the picturesque town of Valle de Bravo, located on the shores of the lake. Explore the cobblestone streets, visit the historic Church of San Francisco, and enjoy the outdoor activities such as hiking, boating, and paragliding. Tlaxcala, discover the cultural heritage of Tlaxcala, one of the smallest states in Mexico. Explore the charming colonial town, visit archaeological sites, and learn about the indigenous history and traditions of the region. Tips. The number one thing that's on people's minds is Mexico City safe? I've seen so many perspectives on this, and I'm going to offer mine. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to take it from a Mexico point of view and then your point of view. So that way I kind of are two perspectives, if you will. First of all, right off the bat, let's just take it from Mexico's point of view, okay? You're coming from a big city with 10 million people in it. Well, guess what? You're going to the largest city in the Americas, bigger than Los Angeles, bigger than New York City, and wherever you may come from. So if you have a big city that you're in, expect twice the amount of problems, right? Right off the bat, the numbers are going to be staggering because it's a 20 million person city. So by default, it's going to have a higher crime rate and higher incident rate and things like that. So what we need to do because of that is have a situation awareness. So I don't like it when I see people walking down the street and everybody's doing this on their phone and nobody's really paying attention, right? So you have to kind of put on your big girl, your big boy pants and just realize that you're in a large city and it is what it is. From your perspective, especially if you come from a first world country, for example, I'm coming from Los Angeles, United States, first world, right? And I would say Mexico is not a third world country, but if you want to call it a first world, to be politically correct, I would say on the lower end, or if you just want to put it in your head, it's a second world nation, and therefore I'm going to act like that. So if you act a certain way in Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, London, Paris, whatever that may, wherever you come from, I need you to amplify it even more, right? So if you have a certain situation awareness, elevate it even more, because tell yourself you're in a second world nation, which means you're going to have corruption, right? You're going to have taxi corruption, perhaps police, other types of corruption. So just pretend that, hey, I'm not going to have the same benefits as I am in my first world country, if you will. With that being said, too, some specifics that I would narrow it down to Mexico City in particular. As you know, if you see my European videos, I narrow down the pickpockets that are kind of famous in Europe. I would say in Mexico City, apply that same mentality of things go in your front pocket, little thin fanny pack, if you will, under your shirt. Try not to have your backpack on in public crowds in the back, or you're riding the bus, you have your backpack on. I'd put your backpack in the front. You're going out dining, cell phone in the pocket, don't put it on the table. Backpack goes down between your legs, don't have it off to the side, don't have it in the back of the chair. I would apply some of my European tips to Mexico City, just to be on the safe side. I would apply that here in the United States, as a matter of fact. So, but one of the things I picked up on that's unique to Mexico City is I would prefer to do the ride share, because your credit card's already in the system, it's already in the app, and you already know what the price is going to be. Where the taxi cabs, I know there was one taxi cab I rode in, and it kind of gets a little funny. You do the calculation, and you realize, wait a minute, that's a little bit more than the normal going rate, right? Was that a one-time? Who knows? But I would maybe stick to the ride share versus taxi, unless you're doing it really quick right here and there, a couple bucks, probably no big deal. One of the things I also picked up on in Mexico City is a lot of people would want to come up and talk to you, a lot of vendors. And that's kind of standard wherever you go. They're kind of yelling at you, hey, come to this restaurant, or hey, take a look at my table here, my blanket full of goods. But I noticed like the shoe shine guys will come up and walk alongside of you and start talking to you. I've seen people kind of get roped into a shoe shine. Even if you don't agree to that, they'll just start shining your shoes, or they start giving you, people start giving you bracelets and things like that. They would expect payment, or it's not just being nice. A lot of times, if they know you're high end, which is anybody from a first world country, they would tack on extra pesos and expect you not to know the calculation. So for example, a shoe shine could be $30, $20, and you just have to kind of narrow them down to make sure in your head you're going like, okay, it should be $5 or $10 or whatever you think is value there. With that being said, with street vendors, street food and things like that, I would just have the calculation to keep it simple. Obviously from the United States, I'm dealing with dollars. Talking to my European friends and looking at the calculations, you can roughly call it the same there with the euro and the pound and so forth. It's not exact, but it's a rule of thumb. I would, because what you're going to see, like when you see in Europe, you see the euro sign, and then you convert to dollars, which is give or take, right? In Mexico City, there's no quote unquote peso sign. You're going to see dollars. So it's going to be a trip when you go out to dinner, and it's like it says $300. It's like the dollar sign in 300 or $400 or $200. $30 tacos. Just keep in mind that's peso, so don't blow yourself out of the water. And you do the conversion either with your handheld smartphone or a calculation or in your head. So for example, at the time of this video, just call it divided by 16 to 1. So if a street taco, if it says $16, well, you're in your head, okay, divide that by 16. Oh, okay, it's costing me $1. So here's 16 pesos and you pay the guy, right? If a burrito's $32 on the street, you know you're giving 32 pesos in your head divided by 16. Oh, I just paid $2 for that particular burrito. So that's one thing that you definitely would need to keep in your mind. Another great tip that's along the same avenue, as a matter of fact, is when I go to Europe, you can get away without having some euros, right? I mean, I pretty much use my credit card in every situation, especially the first world countries. Second world countries in Europe, maybe take out some cash and have some for local cabs and some coins and so forth. But in Mexico City, highly recommend bringing some pesos. What I don't recommend is doing the conversion. In my example, in LAX, I don't recommend you do the conversion in MEX at their airport. What you want to do is when you get settled in, I went to the local ATM that was in the hotel, or the local ATM that's there in Mexico, and that way you don't pay the large spread that you will if you do the conversion in the airports. Why you need pesos? It's very simple. I want you to enjoy all the street food. All the mom and pop type places that you see out on the street. I mean, I ate dinner one night for $5, right? You grab a taco, a tamale, and some rice and beans. I mean, it's like $5. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. Now, again, you would be paying $90 or roughly around there, $100 in pesos. But when you do the conversion back, you find out, oh my God, I paid less than $10 for this particular thing. So the local stuff, local food is where you're going to be spending your money on. You're going to be paying in cash. All the markets, all the mercados, anytime you go in there, you're going to be paying cash. So a lot of times, even some of the exhibits that you would go to, you'd probably end up paying cash. I stayed away from public transportation, but you would probably pay cash there too. So anytime you would need cash, tips, and things like that, you want to make sure you take out plenty of pesos ahead of time. And of course, when you're doing your rideshare credit card, hotel credit card, anything of major would be credit card. You're in a nice restaurant, you'd probably use your credit card. But again, you can get away with using your cash there too. So, and any leftover pesos you have, you would just bring those home just like I do with euros, and you would just save them for your next trip. One of the things I definitely want to add to that, and it kind of coincide with the transition for the next topic here, is I've been to Cancun, I've been to Cabo San Lucas, I've been to Ensenada, Puerto Vallarta. I would say Ensenada is probably the closest to Mexico City, but though that's a major tourist area that you would see kind of the same prices, if you will. For those of you that experienced Mexico in the past, like, oh wow, I went to Cancun, I went to Cabo San Lucas, and I still spend the same amount of money on a glass of wine, a dinner, and whatever entertainment as the same I would do in my home country. Mexico City is not like that. For a 20 million person city, a huge city, largest city in the Americas, capital city, you still get that stereotype, my money's gonna go far. Which is awesome, and it's a great experience. So again, I highly recommend indulging yourself in the local markets, the local type of street food, the local mom and pop type of restaurants. I remember going back to Cabo San Lucas before it took off over the last 20 years and got to experience that same thing too. With that being said, I'll transition over to the weather. For those of you who have been to other places in Mexico, right, if you're on the Gulf side, it's hot and humidity. On the Pacific side, it could be hot. Mexico City, the perception is, well, I'm in the center, I don't have the water. It's actually a little chilly there. I mean, I was there during the hottest day of the year here in May in the 90s. I'm like, oh my gosh, the perception was it would be over 100, especially coming from LA. It would even be hotter. You're quote unquote closer to the equator than you are in Los Angeles, and it's just not the case. You're higher than you are in Denver or Atlanta. I believe it's roughly around 7,000 feet. So you want to make sure you stay hydrated because you're higher elevation. So you want to make sure you're drinking water throughout the day. The perception of it is like, oh my gosh, it's going in the summer months. It's going to be cooler there too, or hotter, I should say. No, it's actually cooler. July in Mexico City is their rain month. So a lot of times it'd be in the 70s, and you're going to fool yourself thinking you may not need as much hydration that you would at, say, Cabo San Lucas or the Cancun experience that you may have experienced in the past, but you want to continue to drink water throughout the day because you're at higher elevation. Some final thoughts. Be sure to book your Frida Kahlo Museum tickets ahead of time. You want to make sure you booked your exact time that you're going to tour that museum. Matter of fact, all my sites, day trips, including the Frida Museum, all the hyperlinks are in the description field. I would recommend you do everything ahead of time. I hope you truly enjoy Mexico City. It's nothing like Cancun or Cabo San Lucas, which offers that resort type of feel. What it offers is a huge metropolitan city at typical stereotype Mexico prices. That's the best way to explain it. So you get street tacos and a big city type of feel, and you get great weather. For more on Mexico City's destinations, like I said, feel free to look at the description field. Feel free to download my free essential guide to Mexico City. And please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe button, and bell button. And most importantly, feel free to forward this video to a loved one.